Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. So today on the channel we're going to talk about a budget-friendly bug out bag, something that you can put together for under $200. So stick with me. So I recently did an in-depth video of what I keep in my bug out bag. Now that was a more high-level bug out bag. Obviously the cost of all of the stuff in there probably totaled to around $2,000, well outside a lot of people's price range, especially if you're just getting into this, and especially if money is hard to come by, which I totally understand, because for the better part of my life I was absolutely dirt poor. So I totally get it. And when you're starting off with prepping, it can be a very daunting thing if you don't have a lot of money. The most important thing is that you start somewhere. You're going to make a lot of mistakes in terms of the stuff you buy along the way. But I think with the stuff that I'm going to show you today, this is stuff that's going to be with you for a long, long time. And I want to say that one of the biggest mistakes that I see a lot of people making is they go and they buy those bulk pre-made emergency kits off Amazon. I'm telling you right now that for half the price that you can get those packs for, you can get better products which are going to last you a lot longer. All the links for this stuff are in the description, but honestly, a lot of this stuff you're going to find around your house. You're going to find a lot at the local corner store, so it's just a matter of putting it all together. So this is a cheap pack that I found at Walmart, I believe. It's a $15 pack. And I originally looked at Value Village, which is our thrift store here. I'm sure you have an equivalent in the United States. And if you can just find a thrifty backpack, honestly, for a budget purpose, we can't be too picky. Now, if you wanted to, you can go and you can buy one of those military backpacks off of Amazon, which they might look kind of cool, but honestly, the stitching and the build quality of a lot of those cheap dime a dozen backpacks with the MOLLE webbing and all that, you get what you pay for in the long run. So especially when it comes to a gray man approach, if you're somebody who doesn't want to draw a lot of attention to yourself, a pack like this is perfect for urban bug out. In fact, I would almost prefer this if I was in an urban environment than my other backpack, which is more suited towards outdoor wilderness survival. Okay, now let's get into the contents of this pack. So on this side, we have a Nalgene stainless steel single-walled bottle. This is important because I can put this right on a fire, okay? I don't need a grill. I can just cook. I can boil water in here to make it drinkable. I can cook stuff in here, and of course it's going to double as a water bottle. Now, as you can see, it doesn't look that good, but it's going to be just fine. Stainless steel. It's going to last a long, long time, and there's no built-in plastic O-rings on there or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about that stuff melting. Just make sure you take the cap off. I also have some cheap paracord. So this isn't survivor cord. This is your cheap dime a dozen 550 paracord, about 50 feet of it on that side. And as we go into the outside pouch of the pack, this is an Adventure Medical Kit's 0.9 medical kit. So a very simple medikit, costs around $25, I believe. That's going to be one of your bigger purchase items. This is around 30 bucks, but well worth it. So we also have a life straw. Now the benefits of a life straw is that you can use it in a pinch. You can drink out of creeks. You can grab some water from a lake, put it in your Nalgene, and sip it out of there if you want to do that, so you don't have to hunch over into the lake. These will filter out bacteria. It won't filter out viruses, but in North America, in 99% of places, you don't have to worry about viruses in the water. Obviously, we're living in different times now, so that could change at any moment. But the life straw is going to do you well. That should cost you between $15 to $20. Now we have an emergency ultralight bivvy sack. Now this is very similar to an emergency blanket. It's a mylar blanket. It reflects most of your body heat. It's not the thickest material, so it's not going to last a long time, unfortunately, but it's good to be used in case of emergency. We also have this Esbit stove, and in case we can't start an open fire for whatever security reason, this Esbit stove is going to allow us to boil some water. Just make sure that you only use this in a condition where it's not windy, where you can get a nice constant flame and you can keep that flame close to your pot, because these don't produce a lot of heat, so you really have to be careful and use it sparingly, but really cheap. Okay, we also have a map, a local map that can run you a couple bucks. Consider though that a lot of this stuff you can have on your smartphone. Go and check out my video that I did about smartphone apps, because there are a lot of offline maps that you can get which will still work with GPS. GPS will still work at least for a short period of time after a full-blown SHTF situation. One of the most important devices in the kit is going to be this Haltifors knife. It's going to run you about 30 bucks, and it's very similar to the Mora Companion in terms of build quality, but it's just a nice sturdy little knife, has a great little handle on it, and it's carbon steel. But just I really like the feel of this knife. It's going to be a good cap knife. You're not going to be able to use it for a lot of batoning and crazy stuff like that, but we have an axe in this kit as well, so we don't have to worry about that. Nice knife. You could even possibly use it for self-defense because it's small enough. We also have this emergency phone charger. Okay, so these are kind of neat. Basically, it's a throwaway phone charger. This runs you about $5, and it's called a charge tab. And if you, obviously, when we're trying to keep the budget around $200, that doesn't give us a whole lot of room to play with in terms of having a renewable energy source. This will give you an additional 4 hours of talk and text. So it's 1500 milliamp hours. So if you have one of the newer, bigger phones, which are 4000 milliamp hours, you're going to be getting, conservatively speaking, about a third of a charge on those. If you have a dumb phone, it will probably fully charge it. You can get them in USB-C or USB-A. We also just have a cheap Energizer headlamp, probably run you 5 to 10 bucks. And we also have Vaseline. Why Vaseline? Vaseline is probably one of the most important things in this kit. Some of the uses for Vaseline are as follows: lip balm, moisturizer, skin protector, diaper cream, emergency candle, leather conditioner, stain remover, lubricant, bug bites, wound care, skin cleanser, rust prevention, shaving cream, pet paws, fire starter, firearm lubricant, gas mask seal, stuck zippers, blister prevention, and to prevent chafing. And you know what? If you're all alone in the woods and it's the apocalypse, ain't nobody gonna be around. You guys know what I'm talking about. There's always a lot of uses for Vaseline out in the field. So we got this cheap Brunton compass. Any compass will do. This is a little bit bigger, a little bit more reliable than those button compasses that you get. Just a simple compass for basic route finding. In here, this is another option. So I would use these interchangeably. Either you get a heavy-duty emergency blanket. This is, I'd actually recommend this one more, to be honest, because it's a bit more heavy-duty. It just doesn't fully encapsulate you like this bivvy sack. Now remember, a bivvy sack is like a tent and a sleeping bag in one. It's basically a miniature sleeping bag, but it's a lot thinner. This material is much thinner and it will tear pretty easily. So if you're resting on a ground with some sticks and stones, this is probably going to tear pretty easily. This would be more ideally suited to a winter situation where there was snow, soft snow on the ground, or whatever the case might be. But honestly, I would go with the heavy-duty emergency blanket. Really cheap. I believe they're between 9 and 10 bucks, and very reusable. You can even use it as a makeshift tarp. In here, we just have a variety of different things. Using Ziploc bags in here. Just a thing of playing cards, cost you 50 cents. A little bit of snare wire. We have some duct tape. And we have some jute twine. Now you can use the jute twine in conjunction with a Vaseline to make yourself an emergency candle, or you can use that to act as a fire starter. Vaseline is an excellent fire starter. You can basically combine it with everything that you find in nature, and it's going to make it burn longer. It's another big money item that we have in here. It's around $20 to $30, and it's a Silky F180 saw. It's their cheapest saw, so you're getting what you pay for. You know, it's not something that's going to last you forever, but it's going to make your wilderness experience much better to be able to process firewood. So probably one of their best entry-level saws if you use it properly and you're not binding it up and pushing it and using it all aggressively. They're good blades. They will last if you know what you're doing. If you're in a very cold environment, then you need to take extra care because, of course, the metal gets a little bit more brittle. In this pack, this is kind of like miscellaneous toiletries, okay? So we have some soap. We have some Ben's DEET, which definitely would come in handy. People always wonder why I'm so big on bug spray. Most people are used to staying indoors. Bugs can mean the difference between making a bad decision and a really, really bad decision. Okay. We have some dental floss, which of course will double as fishing lines. We have a few little aqua tabs. Okay. We have some Tylenol, which is definitely going to be very helpful. And I would also recommend ibuprofen as well, because if you get a tendinitis, you get a sprain, you have any sort of global pain in your body, then those things are going to come in handy. We also have some toilet paper tablets and a compressed towel. We have a couple cheap bandanas from the dollar store. A lot of this stuff is from the dollar store. Go check out my dollar store video where I show you 100 different items that you can buy from the dollar store. Really good stuff. Here we have some matches. We also have another candle. We have some waterproof matches and a lighter. So that's kind of our fire kit. Now in here, I got this axe. I believe it was 10 or 15 bucks at a store we call Princess Auto here in Canada. Just a cheap hatchet. Okay, so you can't expect a whole lot out of it. I'm sure the head's going to come loose in a while, and it's probably not going to be that sharp, but it's going to get the job done. Okay. Now, while I was at Princess Auto, I also picked up this they call it a wrecking knife. So I believe it's supposed to double. It's like a harder steel. It's supposed to double as a pry bar, and it's very similar in form factor to the Haltefor's OK4 knife. A little bit bigger, okay, and pretty sharp, sharp enough to be useful out there in the field. So I just picked it up. Obviously, you would only take one of these. You could make the argument of one is none, two is one, especially when it comes to something as important as a knife. So it's up to you, but we still have a backup cutting tool in the hatchet as well. Also have a pair of rubber gloves, a couple bucks for those. The other bigger ticket item is this radio. This is a shortwave radio, and it also has weather band. It has a solar panel on the side. It also has crank charging, so you're just sitting around there waiting for somebody to come and help you. You can have a lot of time to crank that, and it's going to have your AM, FM, and your shortwave and your NOAA radios. This is only a receiver. It's not going to allow you to transceive, so you're not going to be able to send out signals, but it's going to allow you to pick up signals from all around the world. So if there was a national disaster and you weren't getting any local signals, then you might be able to get a signal from many states over, or even on the other side of the world. Hopefully it's in a language that you can understand. That's the Kato Voyager, and it's going to run you between 20 and 30 bucks. Also have a lightweight emergency poncho in there. Okay, honestly, a garbage bag would double just fine for that. And that's another thing I would recommend putting in here is a garbage bag. This is just a mesh laundry bag. This is something that I got at the dollar store. This will also double as, well, obviously it's a bag that you could carry wild edibles if you wanted to dehydrate stuff, but you could also use this as a fishing net or fish trap. This is a reflective safety vest because you never know what the emergency situation is going to call for. If you find yourself in the city and it's a disaster and you want to make yourself very visible, having something high vis could even be officiating to an extent. If you're trying to help people out of some rubble or something like that, having a safety vest on might bring some other people around you assurance. Maybe they might come to you for help even. Also have a chamois, okay, that's just for obviously cleaning yourself with your soap. Have some cheap glow sticks from the dollar store. I'm not a big fan of glow sticks, but you know what? They were so cheap. I believe they were like $1. It doesn't hurt. They provide good area lighting, and it's not lighting that's going to be seen from a long distance. We also have this shower curtain liner. So this is to make a super shelter with, in conjunction with our emergency blanket and the tarp that I'm going to show you in a minute. If you don't know how to make a super shelter, it's an A-frame or lean-to type shelter where you can put this as a barrier between you and the fire, and it's going to allow the heat of the fire to be retained inside your shelter. Lots of videos on that on YouTube. Now, the biggest ticket item, I think, which is going to run you about 30 to 40 bucks, is a wool blanket. probably going to be your best friend in emergency. This is 90% wool. I would recommend you could get 100% wool, but the closer to 100% you get, the less comfortable it is going to be. Now, in an emergency, you might think that comfort doesn't matter at all, but I think it still matters to a degree. So this is a 90% wool blanket, 10% blended fibers. It's really up to you if you want comfort or durability. The closer it is to 100%, the more durable, and the further away from that, the more comfortable. Then we just have a tarp. Okay, this is just a cheap camo tarp I got from Princess Auto. Now, these will last, a while, but they're not going to last forever. And if you don't string it up properly and it's very windy out, the grommets can easily be pulled out, or you can get tears in here. So when it's the only thing you have, you definitely have to treat it with care. But for a short-term use or even several weeks, this could definitely be a lifesaver. So that's going to be your main shelter source. So like I say, all of this stuff, ballpark figure, 200 American dollars. There's many other options, guys. This is just to show you that you can have a decent bug out bag for a fraction of the price of those bug out bags that they're trying to sell on Amazon that don't have nearly as much stuff as shown here. Now, the one benefit of those is that it's pre-made, so if you're lazy and you just want to have somebody else make it for you, fine, but you're going to be paying a huge premium for that you definitely don't have to for things that you could just have that are better at a cheaper rate. Let me know if you guys have any other ideas in the comment section below. Again, there's a lot of stuff that you might want to consider adding, like socks, clothes, obviously personal protection devices, signaling devices. The list could go on and on. But this is just to provide you a good foundation. With this, you have all your basic bases covered. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and if you want any of this stuff, go check out the links. It helps support the channel. Thanks for watching. Canadian Prepper out.
The best way to support this channel is to support yourself by gearing up at CanadianPreparedness.com. The best quality products at the best prices. Use discount code SURVIVALPREPPER, all caps, all one word, for 10% off. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.